Hey guys, it's Becky. I am back with another process video. This is Mini Kit Mondays. This is layout number 2 for December of 2018. I'm going to go ahead and start with a cut file. This is a cut file of sand dollars. And right here I'm trying to find the ink I want to color them. I do end up going with antique linen. It is a distressed ink. This is actually an oxide. I don't do anything different for the oxide. I just use it as an ink on this part right here. I'm just kind of coloring the sand dollars up because I did not want them to be white. So for this layout, I am doing 2 challenges. One was for the November scrap lift challenge, and I scrap lifted that photo that's up in the top right hand corner. That is by Stacy Lee. You can find her over at A Cherry on Top. And the other one was the November Use Your Stash challenge, where you had to use 3 or more photos. So right here I am using these foam thickers that are by Paige Evans. This, if you remember, this Mini Kit Mondays for this month, I'm using everything that you can find in Michael's or Hobby Lobby. I do end up using my silhouette quite a bit. I don't think that I had embellishments well thought out. Here recently I've been using a lot less embellishments, and I have been using my silhouette machine quite a bit more. I am not completely sure what brought on this more simple style that I've been doing lately, but it's working for me, and I mean, it could just be a phase. Who knows? So right here, I am going to go ahead and back these photos on this coral paper. They're a little too long. I did not want them to extend the width of the page, and they were 3x3s. I do cut them down to 3x2.5, and then I kind of overlap them a little bit onto the coral paper. I will have a little bit of a border at the top, the bottom, and each sides, so you can still see that paper quite a bit. I really like this color. I'm glad I pulled it into the kit. I kind of wished I would have been able to use this piece of paper a little bit more. I don't end up using it too much throughout the month of December. So I am also going to use this wave paper as kind of a block. You can see in the scrap lift photo how she has the red at the top and the bottom. I'm going to kind of use it in that manner, but it's the wave paper, not a red block. The background paper that I'm using is one that I had pulled into the kit, and it's the one that was kind of ombre. It kind of went from a light color, almost white. It's reading white on the screen, down into kind of a really light green, a really light, like a mint color. And that's the one I'm going to be using for my background right here. I'm just going to go ahead and trim up my photo block. I am right here. I'm going to decide how much width I want to be at the top and the bottom. I am going to put my title down there at the bottom, and I knew this. See where she has I love dogs? I am going to put my title down there. You saw me spell it out earlier. It was sand dollars, and so I wanted to leave enough space for those small little letters to fit. Well, like I said, this is Mini Kit Mondays, so please make sure you go check out Dollie, Traci, Kathy, Daisy. Don't think JoJo's joining us this month, but I'll link her down below. I did see where Daisy shared her kit, so yay. I'm so glad she's back. She's so fun. She's fun. Okay, so I am going to do a strip at the top. Now, I did not have this paper in a 12x12. Well, I did, but I had previously used it. I'd used it on the layout before this one. So I'm just going to kind of join it together, and you can see that seam was bothering me, so I stuck a sand dollar up there. In the end, I'm just going to leave the seam there. I'm just going to leave it be, and you may or may not be able to tell. You can tell if you're looking for it, but if you're just glancing at the page, probably you're not going to see that. I'm also going to use 3 more strips. I do use this shell paper. I'm kind of off screen, and what I'm doing is I'm fussy cutting around the bottoms of those shells, so it's kind of like a scallopy border, which she had on her page. And then I'm going to take that coral piece of paper. See, I really wanted to use more of that coral because I just really like that paper for some reason, but I don't want those 2 colors next to each other, so I'm going to go ahead in the end and use this kind of a tan one with the starfish on them. Here I'm trying to decide where exactly I'm going to want to put my clusters. Now my battery's going to die, and I'm going to come back, and there's going to be some banners on here. I have not figured out this camera yet. I think, I mean, I've had it for a while, but I think the batteries, I need to replace them or something because they just run out. I can have like 1 battery life per layout, and that is it. I have to remember to change the battery every time. Or I could possibly keep it plugged into my computer, but I don't know if the cord's long enough. We'll have to see. I'm still working on that. So the next several videos probably are going to have bits cut out. Right there I just cut out where it says collect seashells off of that paper with the word strips on it. I knew I was going to do that in the beginning. I think I said that when I was sharing my kit. Right here I am taking the vintage photo distress ink and just inking some of this white paper because I'm going to back those sand dollars onto that so the brown pops through. I will use that same ink to ink the edges of all my pieces. I even ink the edges of the doilies on here. Now you can see right there where those 3 banners just suddenly appeared. There's the seashell one that I used for a scallop at the top. There is the sand dollar one that I used up at the top, and then there's also just a little piece of wood grain. It came off of the word strip paper. Down there at the bottom I snuck in another little piece of wood grain. It's kind of a green color, and I snuck that in down there. That's where I'm going to put the date. I have not done that yet, and still at this point of this voiceover I still have not done my journaling. The journaling is going to go underneath the title. These are photos of Kyron. He was seashell hunting, and it was so funny because before he went out, I had told him, I said, okay, if you find the sand dollars and they're still kind of green or fuzzy, sometimes they're a little bit brown, they're still alive, and you're supposed to throw them back in the ocean. You're not, it's against the law to take live seashells. I shouldn't have told him that because he really wanted a sand dollar, and the ones he found were alive. He did find one that was broken, but yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, he found some sand dollars and he threw him back in the ocean, but he's a rule follower, so if you tell him, you know, you're not supposed to take the live ones, he's not going to take the live ones. Nope. Alright, so I am going to go ahead and commit to this little cluster I have going down here at the bottom. It's just one of the doilies, that wood grain strip, and a sand dollar. Up here I'm going to go ahead and lay out my strips. At first I put this seashell one down, but I couldn't get the other one tucked up underneath it, so I'm going to go ahead and pull that back up, stick the seashell one down, and then put the sand dollar back over it. That little strip turned out really cute with the fussy cut bottoms of the shells. I really like how that turned out, and I did ink that as well with that vintage photo distress oxide. I just like how it turned out. It turned out really, really cute. You can see here I started using liquid glue. I don't know why. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put my photo block down. It's going to be closer to the top a little bit. Here I'm going to go ahead and stick in the doilies. Now what I am going to go ahead and stick this doily down, but I'm going to cut off a little piece of the corner that is behind the photo mat. It's not showing, it's a waste, and I wanted to use it down there at the bottom as well. I'm going to go ahead and put down the banners so I can figure out where I want to put that doily, and it's going to go right there toward this side. I'm going to go ahead and commit to the placement of this, and then I'm going to stick down the banners and the doily and that sand dollar. Now that sand dollar, I will pull out some foam tape and I'm going to pop it up a little bit. I'll just set the foam tape down onto the page and then set the sand dollar on top of it. I really like how this one ends up turning out. I can't wait to get that journaling on there. I'm going to use a brown pen with it. Here in a minute I'm going to show you where I pull out my title again right here, and I use that vintage distress ink to color it. Don't do that. It's on top of foam stickers. It has been at least a week since I've done this, and that ink is still not dry. It still comes up off of my fingers. So I don't know if I'm just going to leave it that way or if I'm going to wipe it off and just let them kind of be somewhat dingy. I have not decided yet, but that ink does, the Distress Oxide ink does come up off those foam stickers. I would probably use a dye ink next time, or maybe an alcohol ink next time. Those would probably have a better chance of drying. So right here I am using the Heidi Swapp Color Shine in Tea, and I give that a splatter around the page. I specifically put a few dots above that photo block, and that's because I had smudged the paper because the sand dollars, the ink off of that got on my fingers because it was still wet. Alright guys, after that I don't do anything else to this layout. I want to thank you so much for joining me. Go see Traci, Dollie, Kathy, Daisy, and JoJo. I'll see you next time. Bye guys.